Grab your pens and your papers, everybody. We have a 2026 PGA Tour schedule breakdown, a full crash course on what is going to be the biggest golf season of all time. 35 total events on the PGA Tour this year, starting with the Sony Open in Honolulu. That will bring us to the West Coast Swing, starting with the American Express in La Quinta, the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, West Management Open at TPC Scottsdale, and then the first signature event of the year at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. The Century is usually the first PGA Tour event of the year, and that's the first signature event, but that was canceled due to droughts in Maui. So that means that the Pebble Beach Pro-Am will be our first signature event. It's where they take the top 50 players from the FedEx Cup standings the previous year, as well as additional qualifiers. It's a no-cut event, 4 days with bigger purses and more FedEx Cup points given out. It's where all the big names come out to play. We will see that in February at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Also at the Genesis Invitational the very next week. And it's back at Riviera Country Club this year. Last year they had to play it at Torrey Pines, the site of the Farmers Insurance Open, because of the wildfires that were going on. Great news that it is back at Riviera. Then the tour heads to Florida, starting with the Cognizant Classic, always going to be called the Honda Classic for me. That's at PGA National. Then into March, we have the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. That's also a signature event, and that leads us right into the Players, which is considered the fifth major because it is the highest purse of any non-major event of the year. Rory McIlroy won in a playoff last year over JJ Spaun. We'll see if he can defend his title at TPC Sawgrass, and everything after the Players is what we call Masters season. That is because every player's focus shifts towards the Masters in April. If you're qualified, you might play in a couple tournaments, might be in Florida, might be in Texas, at the Valero or Houston Open. Those tournaments will be players' final chance to get the last minute prep in for the Masters, and it's their last chance to get an invite to play in the first major of the year if you're able to win one of those three events. Following the Masters, we head to RBC Heritage in Hilton Head, one of my favorite events of the year because of how dramatic the finishes have been recently. Justin Thomas won last year in epic fashion in a playoff. That is also going to be a signature event, one of 8 signature events on the schedule. Important to keep an eye out for because that's when you are guaranteed to see the top players in the world playing. Following RBC Heritage, we have the Zurich Classic in New Orleans. This is the only team event on the year. A lot of conversation after the poor Ryder Cup performance by Team USA that there needs to be more of this to start to form that chemistry. Expect to see a lot more Ryder Cup or President's Cup members playing in New Orleans this year. Last one of April, a new tournament on the PGA Tour, the Cadillac Championship at Trump National Doral in Miami. This is going to be a signature event. So the PGA Tour is saying not only are we going to go back to Miami, we're going to make it so important that it's one of our 8 signature events. I am thrilled to see what is going to be a big-time tournament on a big-time golf course. Before the PGA Championship, you have your signature event, the Truist Championship. That's back at Quail Hollow after it was in Philly for a year due to the PGA Championship being in Charlotte. So, Truist Championship, signature event. PGA Championship the week following in May at Aronimink Golf Club in Pennsylvania, a relatively new course that you don't see much on the PGA Tour. Should be interesting to see how that major goes down. That brings us to the summer schedule, starting with the Memorial Tournament hosted by Jack Nicklaus in Ohio, leading us to the U.S. Open at Shinnecock in Long Island, New York, one of the best major championship venues in all of golf. Following that, we have the Travelers Championship in Connecticut, the final signature event of the year. This is where players are going to have their last chance to get some big-time points as they make a push to the FedEx Cup Playoffs later in the year. Going into July, we have everyone's favorite, the John Deere Classic, and then you make the hop across the pond to Scotland. The Renaissance Club hosts the Scottish Open once again, but it's all a big tune-up for the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale Golf Club this year in England. Going to be a true links-style golf course, the ultimate test for these guys. Scotty Scheffler, the defending champ of that major as well. Finally, we have the FedEx Cup Playoffs. All the points that players accumulate from the season of 2026 all lead to one thing, and that is trying to find your spot in the FedEx Cup Playoffs. The top 70 make it, starting with the FedEx Cup St. Jude at TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee, like it is every year. That's followed by the BMW Championship, which is at Bellerive Country Club in Missouri. Only the top 50 get to play in the BMW Championship. And if you make it there, your PGA Tour card is safe for next year, and you'll be playing in all the signature events the following year. So that top 50 is a big cut, but none bigger than the top 30 advancing to the Tour Championship at Eastlake. We saw last year, for the first time, no staggered start. Tommy Fleetwood won his first ever PGA Tour event, which was the Tour Championship. Could not be a bigger stage for a non-major, and it leads to September, where we have the President's Cup at Medina, Team USA versus Team World, back on US soil. After that, you have the FedEx Cup Fall, all a push for players to get their points for that following season. But we got a lot of golf before then. 8 signature events, 35 total on the PGA Tour. It's going to be a hectic year. Some of the best major championship venues we've seen in years. We're going to Shinnecock for the US Open. We're going to Ronimink for the PGA Championship. Royal Birkdale in England will be spectacular. And then obviously cannot wait for this one, the Masters. See if Rory McIlroy can defend his green jacket. Follow along to all the coverage on this page. I will be breaking down every PGA Tour event this year with projected winners, storylines to look out for, and more. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel for full golf coverage of 2026. We cannot wait for that opening tee shot to be hit on Thursday at the Sony Open. We'll see you guys next time.